Hello and welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries. Now I normally do a video once a week at the weekend and show what progress has been made, but today's a little bit different because there hasn't been an awful lot of progress. A few kiddies parties this weekend and my good lady, it was her birthday, so the weekend was not spent in the shed. However, I did manage to get an hour in the shed tonight and I thought I'd do a video around a work in progress as opposed to a completed item. So what is the job in progress? Good question. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a couple of brass adapters to take an oil pipe fitting on the end of a Goodrich hose here, which is a JIC fitting, and making it fit into the engine, which is a female thread down here of 1/4 BSP. So I need to make a little union that takes us from a 9/16 JIC fitting to a 1/4 BSP fitting here, and it's a male to male thread. So the first thing to do for that is to draw a little diagram. Yes, I know my diagrams compared to Bob's are not the best, but this is just a scratch notebook for quick and dirty sort of diagrammatic representation. So one side is 1/4 BSP, the other side is 9/16 UNF, and to make it a JIC fitting there's a cone of 37 degrees on the end because that's how they seal JIC rather than with a washer. So I started off with a bit of old brass that was lying round, cut a piece to the right length, faced off the ends and put the 0.3 drill down the center. I made 2 of those because I need to make 2 adapters, one for the oil in and one for the oil return from the scavenge pump back to the tank. So the second job is to put this into the lathe, the good old trusty Myford over here, and to cut that 9/16 UNF JIC fitting. Now I don't have a 9/16 UNF die, which is really strange because I've got hundreds of old dies that have come to me over the years, and yet I don't have a 9/16 UNF. So I've just done it as a screw thread. I've put the 37 degree taper on here, you can see here using the cross slide. And the nice thing about doing it on the lathe is that I can take the fitting here and I can actually try it on. So if I do need to just take an extra fine cut to get this to be a nice fit, I can do so. Am I screwing the right end? Yes, I'm screwing the right end. So once that's on, you get a really good fit without any rattle on it, made in situ. If I didn't have this in my hand, for example, when I'm making the other end, the 1/4 BSP, I won't be able to do a trial fit without taking the job out of the chuck of the lathe. I suppose I could take the chuck off, but it means it's a bit of a faff. If the thread isn't a good fit to the part it needs to fit into, then it's an awful job to try and get it set up in the chuck again to keep keep screw cutting. But having got a die for the other side, I do have here, I do have a 1/4 BSP die, so that makes it a little bit easier because at least I can use a die once I've taken this out and turned it around. And the last little job would be to put a flat on either side so I can hold it with a spanner. So it's a work in progress. It isn't finished by any stretch. I can probably buy these for about £4 on eBay. The trouble with doing that is that you have to wait for them to arrive, and you usually end up paying sort of 8, 9, 10 quid for shipping, and that's a bit of a problem. Or you buy them from China and then it takes months to arrive. So as I've got the brass line round, I've got the machinery, and it's something to do instead of just drinking my life away. It seems to be a good use of time in the evening. But it's getting on a bit now, so I'm going to go back in and perhaps I will have a small drink and join my good lady and watch Gardeners World or something like that. The kind of thing I suppose that normal people do on a Sunday night. So it shouldn't take long though for those 2 parts to be completed. When they are done, I will be able to connect the oil tank to the engine, and once I've got a good oil feed, I can then put a battery across the Dynastart and see if the Dynastart will turn the motor. I don't want to do that until I've got a good oil supply. I can check then once the motor's turning by undoing this bolt here that I've got a good oil supply to the sleeve drive crank, and I've got a decent pressure up here, and we'll be well on our way towards the starting. But it's the little jobs that take the long time, and as usual, it's a little job that's taking the time today. So next weekend, hopefully we'll have a bit more time and more updates will follow. Thanks for watching.